Hi people, and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew. It's Chili here from Live Listen Erased, and we're bringing you another episode of the namesake of this channel, Live Listen Erased. I have a special guest. Matt, how are you?
Hello, good.
Thank you. I just sneezed, by the way. I swear that was a weird little sneeze, but you know what? We just flow with that. First of all, I'm going to say cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us on this episode. Yes, and on this episode, of course, we're going to be discussing music, bands, and all that stuff. We've got a list, Matt has a list for me where he's going to tell me his 3 bands. And out of these lists, we're going to decide which one I will see live perform only once, and that is it. Listen to forever. And the last one has to be erased. Now it'll be fantastic to see what this list involves. Matt, tell us about this list.
Eagle Eye viewers are going to guess what my first band is. It's Death Grips. The second band I think I've chosen particularly out of our mutual interest in them because we went and saw them live once, the Gorillaz.
Yeah,
and the third band, to make it interesting for myself, I think I'm going to say Tool.
I only say that because that was my choice.
Good, we can talk about that in a second.
Well, fantastic. I have the mutual band choice to be making on this one. That's fine. We can... Oh, damn, that is a list and a half to say about that. I just realised I might have to censor some of those words as well because YouTube doesn't allow me to swear within the first 90 seconds.
How long have we got?
Yeah, how long are we in? Okay, fuck yeah, we can swear now. So, okay, let's see. We had the list there. There was Tool, Gorillaz, Death Grips.
Yes.
You're going to have to remind me. Okay, well, what band will I choose to talk about first? I reckon we talk about Gorillaz because newest on the block per se, I guess, with their new album as well. An absolute banger of a tune, and I knew you were going to pick this one, so I'm like, I've got to go back and I've got to listen to this album in particular.
Or did you go to this new one? Oh, I thought you were going to say Song Machine.
I did go back to Song Machine. I went back to Song Machine. I'm like, nah, I still don't like this.
That's a shame. See, I listen to songs off Song Machine now because of how much we were talking about it over the other weekend, and the more I'm like, why don't I remember this? This is fantastic. Yeah. I don't know.
It's good, but it's like
I get it though.
It's interesting, like the way they released it as well. The whole Song Machine saga. What was it, like 2 songs or something at a time, and all these singles coming out
as a podcast or a radio or whatever they were trying to go in for. Like, this is the second episode of So
and there was that weird radio jolt in between with sound effects and shit.
I was all for it at the time too.
Oh yeah.
When Destiny come out, that was like the first time I was like, right, whatever's on this fucking album, I'm in for it. And then we got what's his name from The Cure?
Robert Smith
from The Cure. Then we got the bass player from...
there was Elton John as well.
Elton John was on. How can we forget that?
I know.
That? Phantom Ghost, we saw that
Pink
live.
Phantom. That was at the concert.
It's a shame that Elton wasn't there. He was too busy touring with Doja Cat at the time.
Of course, Doja Cat. Like, Doja Cat and Elton John, it kind of just goes and flows, doesn't it? What else was there? I mean, there's a very short little list here. Gold Link. There's a lot of feet.
Beck was on there, obviously.
Yes, Beck was on there.
Another good Hollywood, How Much We Love Hollywood song, which also is a great linkage straight to Tool's Anima, but we'll talk about that later.
Here's the transition, people. You've already psyched us out there. But there was a bunch of cool songs. Obviously, my favourite track from there had to be Strange Times, which is Robert Smith. The way his vocal delivery and the whole song itself was
very unnerving, very strange.
Yeah, Strange Times, and the way his delivery and everything. That guy still got it. I mean, you look at him.
Around the world. It's so good.
Yeah, you look at him. He looks like an old bag of cats just running around in a
fighting giant mecha Streisand.
Leonard Maltin asked me to call you.
Oh, so Barbara Streisand's found the other triangle, eh?
His days of fighting Barbra Streisand's over. Like, he's retired. He's that ninja sitting by with the rusted sword.
Not
just
even,
kind of like,
what was it, Senseku, the new Iron Maiden album? He's on the cover.
I saw this photo and it was like him versus Ticket Tech, and I swear it's just like this leathery grey old man of hair frizzing everywhere, and I'm like, shit, he's starting to look more like Neil Young than I remember, And Neil Young ain't so young these days.
Yes. Very true.
But of course, when you're looking over the Gorillaz here, I mean, of course, their most recent album, Cracker Island. And it came out a couple of weeks ago as of recording this one.
Mm-hmm.
Also check out, that's a nice fantastic plug. Go check out my 5-minute review on Cracker Island.
Spoiler alert, it's good.
Damn it, don't tell people. Now they
doesn't
have
come for
no
5
reason
minutes.
to go to it. But I was nervous because, you know, you look over their discography and all the albums for the last 10, 12 years really have been very mediocre. You know, you go over to like The Fall, 2010.
The one that was made on the iPad.
Yes.
The tour album.
Yeah, this is the album where I'm going to make it with iPad garage rock band.
Anyone can make
Yeah.
music. See how good my music is.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that was good. Yeah. Whoops, yeah, Armadillo, Revolving Doors in Tolka or whatever it fucking was. I remember listening to that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Revolving Doors, Phone at Arizona. Yeah,
Human music. I like it.
Oh, I see. It's like the Simpsons part where he, like, you know, I can see how this is art. He just ruined a barbecue. Like,
it's raw aggression.
there was certainly something there. It was not raw aggression. It was
Yes.
raw sewage, I think, when it comes to
that
this.
old Damon Albarn sure loves to be, for
Very-
lack of a better word, creative.
Yes. Yes. I mean, and then you followed up with, there was nothing in between for a while. Humans? Was it the
Humans.
next one? That was 7 years after.
7 years.
I couldn't believe that was 7 years after.
I thought it was 7 years long, wasn't it?
The deluxe edition feels like it. I
Poor soul.
listened to it. I tried to listen to it. You know what? And it's the same with the Now as well.
Yeah.
It feels distinctly British.
Very much so.
Like these
I get
up
it.
and
I
coming
get what you're
British
saying.
artists, and you're like, who the fuck are these guys?
As an Australian. Yeah.
As an Australian, I don't understand the English rap scene. I guess it's like an English person watching Spaniard.
Yeah.
You know,
Or Mur, the French film.
what the fuck is murder?
I think it was one of the things that Jesus liked when he was a little kid.
But there was all these albums coming out, and it was like, yeah, that's cool. The Gorillaz have this new album coming out, but all of it was shit. It was
That was Tar. Sorry, music. Going back, movie was wrong. Tar. Tar tastes good though.
Tarte's good. I mean, Song Machine was at least a push in the right area, but it was still pretty forgettable.
Bloated too. Like
Yeah.
one good song. Cheers.
And at the end of the day, it's just like, okay, it was back towards where we wanted it to be with Plastic Beach and stuff like that. All these.
Plastic Beach. See, like I always find it hard to pick when I go to listen to Gorillaz. Do I listen to Plastic Beach again, or do I listen to Demon Days again?
Yes.
It's hard work.
I remember listening years ago. I remember listening up, I think, top 10 albums that influenced me or something in my 2010s era. And I remember you commenting because I mentioned Plastic Beach in it. And you were like, oh, why Plastic Beach over Demon Days? And I'm like, you know what? I don't know.
I know what you mean though. I actually remember being there, not for the party or anything like that, but there in physical appearance for the augmented reality Plastic Beach game that was hosted on the Gorillaz website at the time.
Yeah.
And it was no lyrics, but all of the beats of the song were in different parts of the game. It was like a little explorer. You go around, you click on something. It was like a little art exhibition. We'd playing. It was like a few weeks before the album came out.
They did the exact same thing for Demon Days.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't know that.
I remember
I was way
that
too young.
one. Yeah.
I was way too young. So we're probably the same age doing it.
Yes.
You're doing it for Gorillaz Demon Days,
I
and we're
was
doing
doing-
it for Plastic Beach.
Yeah, it was only 5 years before, not showing my age yet. Oh, you know, dial-up days. Can you get off the internet? I'm trying to make a phone call. I'm trying to, but
There's a
Gorillaz-
monkey taking over the mountain.
What do I do? What do I do? Oh, I'm knocked off.
Don't fine. Who cares?
But yes, you look back at the first 3 albums, and they're so good. They're golden. They're really golden. Obviously, straight out of the gates.
Straight out of the gate, self-titled.
Self-titled album. And I remember being back in 2001, Clint Eastwood came on TV. It was whatever it was, MTV's freaking blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and all of a sudden, here's these animation.
Literal Gorillaz.
Yeah, Gorillaz just like
Having
dancing
fun.
along or whatever. It
Little
was
kids.
the video clip, you know, and then all of a sudden De La Soul pops out and there's a graveyard and it was a really weird animation style. Thinking back to it, because back then you had fucking Britney Spears and all these other bands, and all of a sudden
hyperpop, hyperpop. Like, what was it? Britpop going on at the same time, or was that a few years before too?
No. Before then,
no, it must have been because
Gorillaz
was
like
an
Oasis. You're talking.
Gorillaz was definitely a reflection of what Britpop had done to the music society, right?
Yeah. But I remember seeing like their first song, Clint Eastwood, and I'm going, "This is fucking awesome!"
Mm-hmm.
And I went out and bought the single. So
thinking you got the whole album for $9.99.
No.
We were kids.
And I got the single, and I remember it had obviously 5 versions of the same song. Studio version, demo version, and
the
remix of something.
Yeah.
Back in the day, man, if you got singles, that's how it was. You'd have like all these weird versions.
My first was Mika, Grace Kelly. So good.
Oof. But the last track was a B-sides, which is called Dracula. And that did appear, I think, on their album G-Sides.
Mm-hmm.
And
sounds like
if you guys are Gorillaz fans and you haven't heard the G-Sides or D-Sides albums, highly recommend to go back, in particular to the song Dracula, which is a really good track. There's also Left Hand Suzuki Method and a few other tracks. But I was a fan pretty much from day dot. From that regard.
So lucky. I was 15? Well, no, I couldn't have been 1999, wasn't it? I was
2001.
6, 7, 8, 9. I was 9 or 10.
Fair.
So I remember the cartoons because I thought it was on Cartoon Network, but not the songs because I didn't actually know what music was.
This wasn't Adult Swim, people. Switch over the channel. It could have touted to be though.
Truly.
It was, Murdoch is weird enough to be part of like Adult Swim, but
and he just got more and more grotesque.
Oh yeah, he just, I don't know.
Anyone that can follow the law, please leave a very detailed comment about what is going on between Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3 and Phase 4, but only with short references to the book.
I don't need a thesaurus entrance, people. I just need to know what the hell is going on, because I remember there was a graveyard. Next second, they're driving on a highway, and then you go all the way to Stylo, and they're evading the cops, which was Bruce Willis.
Yeah, exactly. A robot noodle that was replaced by a replicant. Like the mail order basis that they had in the first album has been replaced by a mail order robot that goes crazy and wants to kill Murdoch. I'm sorry, what's going on? Are these still Gorillaz? Like,
and even before that, you still had Murdoch's ex-girlfriend was in the band.
Yeah, that's right. Doesn't exist.
What?
2D's eyes. 2D's got no eyes because Murdoch blew him out or something like that.
Yeah,
that's why he has
why
to
was he black-eyed? Because he was. It was easier for the animation. But we need to figure out a cool backstory to make it work. So
we should actually shout out Tank Girl or author. What's his name? Justin Hewitt, is it?
Yeah, Jamie Hewitt?
Jamie Hewitt, yeah.
Jamie Hewitt.
Justin, I'm so sorry. Justin Roiland's been cancelled, so we can't say Justin anymore.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole... Anyway.
Hey, it got acquitted. Well, not acquitted. He got thrown out of court, so he still probably did it, but now he's kind of... let's not get into it. Hot topic. No drama today, not on this channel.
No. I'm all for the drama. Fuck it. Bring him in. He's next up on next week's channel. Justin Roiland talks about music.
What, his own music? I think if you go back and watch some of those beautiful clips of Rick and Morty, like it's a toothpaste rap about toothpaste.
All those weird ones where he just drank like shots of tequila and then just did international fucking space, whatever the fuck channels they were, the blurbs.
Man.
So yeah, I've been since day dot. I've been a fan. I don't know what the fuck the phases are and all the history behind it. I just like the vision that was the band. It was really cool. The first 3 albums.
It was new. It was interesting.
Very much so. It's so
easy.
Different.
You need to learn about this whole back of the band. I think back in those days, do we even know it was Damon Albarn? How soon did we find out that?
Pretty soon. It wasn't. It was kind of like before. This really is before the internet.
Yeah.
A bit before.
It was the first physical CD that I remember loading onto my Xbox Classic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. We must have owned it at some stage, but there was no, I had to type in all the words myself. There was no auto-generated.
Oh, no.
So, most of the songs are actually mistitled on my Xbox still to this day because I was just like, oh, it's the Ding Dong song.
I like the Ding Dong song. Ding Dong.
You ready to rock the ding dong?
Easiest one to remember was 5/4 because of the time beat. Down, 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 down.
Which I was, after the fact, always got confused. Was that a Gorillaz song or was that a Blur song? Because it sounds probably one of the most Blur sounding tracks.
Ooh.
Only after the fact, only after I found out, obviously.
And punk.
Oh, A-Punk too.
A-Punk, it's very...
M1A1 too? That's actually pretty Gorillaz, right? Or is M1A1 actually Gorillaz?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, M1A1, the last track. Da, da, M1A1.
I don't know the next part.
But yeah, like
So
all those
good.
three albums, those three are my childhood, are my youth. And moving on from there, it just felt like lackluster piece of shit after lackluster piece of shit. And then finally, when Cracker Island came around, I can tell you right away, if you watch the review, you'll know. But I was hesitant because I didn't know if this was good. Yeah,
He was man scorned.
Yeah, I didn't know whether this was going to be just another lackluster album or if this was going to be the one that kind of raised them back to the status of the band. And around about this time, we saw them live as well.
Yeah, right when Thundercat's song was released the day before, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that week, Thundercat released their single, Cracker Island, the first single, and I remember listening to it going, this is fucking hype.
And I remember going into that and you telling me in the line on the way in, dude, we got to see this new song, haven't even heard it yet. And then you're like, this is fucking it, this is it.
And it was dope.
And it was so dope. If a man walked out with a fucking 17-string bass guitar strapped on his fucking back and started
like
playing
ZZ Top did recently?
So good.
Did you see that?
No, what?
ZZ Top, like...
Yeah.
Classic rock, like he usually plays with a 4-string bass, the two Bearded Brothers, and the dude rocks out with like a guitar he bought on Wish, and it's like 17-string yellow as shit with red lightning bolts, and it's like a 17-string bass guitar, and I'm like,
how do you even begin playing that?
Oh, he did. I don't know how he did it, but
just like this.
Yeah, you can't play it, but it's meant for like tapping and shit. He did it. But yeah,
I've only ever seen them in like YouTube shorts with like people doing classical music and going dun 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 with the high fretboards.
Yeah, it's
insane.
It's a wank of a guitar.
But
never buy it.
If Thundercat did walk out with one of those at the live concert, how hype would that be? We would
I'd lose my shit.
Reason.
Like if he was the bassist on that night. I mean, when we're actually leading up to this, just to go into it a bit, before we knew what they were going to be doing live. What were you expecting? Like, would you have preferred to have seen them live or them as cartoons? It's one of the questions I've been asking myself.
Yeah, I personally walked in there with, was it MTV that they did live and they had the big projections?
That was there was a live performance they recorded for it, but that was in MTV.
It was something. It was something
somewhere
that
in England.
It might have been an award show. Was it? It was something that they did, and it was this big. And Snoop Dogg was standing next to him, and they were rapping together. And I was kind of like, in my brain wanted to see some animation figures because I was like, we were at the Kudos Bank Arena, in the biggest fucking arena in Australia, in Sydney. Sorry, probably Australia. I don't really know. Don't quote me.
Homebush. That's bigger. Go on.
Damn.
It holds more people anyway.
But it was huge. It was like I wanted to see this big, like grandiose. Leaning into the fact it's not a real band, it's a band of monkeys, which they also allude to on Cracker Island. Skinny little ape. I'm just a skinny ape, but we can get into that later. So I wanted to see it live. I wanted to see the whole thing, but then I saw Damon Albarn live, and I was like, no, this is actually what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, like I mean, leading into it, I was the same thing. I wanted to see the animation. I want to see them come up and the band being animated. But I'm looking at it just going, I'm glad I saw the people rather, performing, because if you were just paying to see some 2D animations flash across the screen, are you really seeing them live?
I know. Like, Hatsune Miku? Have you heard of Hatsune Miku? This vocoder program that's this massive Japanese artist, blue hair, blue ponytail hair. People go and see her live. She's not only is she not there, she's like a projection. She is also not even a real voice, I think. There is a voice that went into this program, but this vocoder program sings her own original music.
What the fuck?
It's insane. Don't go into it because it is like music you won't enjoy. But guys, Hatsune Miku, tell Chili all about it. He'll review all the albums starting from the start. He'll actually learn how to make music in Hatsune Miku's program, and he'll make it himself. He'll put it out on this channel.
Definitely won't. I definitely will not do that. I don't care if this video gets 1,000 likes.
And also in saying that, sorry, she sells out concerts in Japan, huge concerts.
Yeah.
Okay. And they love it. People love it.
I can
Not just
understand in Japan. I can understand the Japanese market. There's a lot of weird shit. We are talking about Ladybeard and stuff like that.
Ladybeard, yes. Good cheer up.
But anyway, like, I mean, I'm kind of glad that they did come out as
Old Man Damon Albarn.
Yeah, as Old Man.
Aging
And he still hyped the crowd up. I loved it.
No, so good.
Now let's talk about Cracker Island quickly.
Yes,
so you mentioned Skinny Ape before. Killer track, one of the best on the album, I reckon.
Ooh.
And it's
I
one of
also
the
keep thinking that it's the closer because it seems like such a closer, but it's not. We have an extra track. We have like a...
And if you got the deluxe version, it's not. It's like the halfway point. I'm listening to Skinny Ape, and it's like one of those few. It's the only track I believe that breaks the fourth wall.
Oh, as far as I know,
it's the only time they reference the band as a cartoon. And I think
the closest we would have got is I'm a scary guy girl on a flower that she made from plastic power. Well, rhinestone eyes are like...
Oh, rhinestone eyes, yeah. Rhinestone eyes. Yeah, but, oh man, Skinny Ape is a fucking kick-ass track.
It's
and it should be the closer.
It's such an interesting build-up too. Like, it's fast. Like, it's a fast-tempoed song, and it doesn't... Like, it just has this beautiful melody, and like it's almost like a love song to being a gorilla as a gorilla making music. And then right at the end, it's got this hard dancing breakdown where it's like, fuck yeah, I'm a skinny ape. Like, we can do anything. We can change the world.
Don't worry about my mental, my mental personality or whatever. I am just a skinny ape.
I'm just a skinny ape. The music is not important. None of this is important. Change the world. You're a person.
That's right. It's weird because for that reason, pretty much.
It's amazing. It's such an amazing moment on that album.
What are your favourite tracks from that album, do you reckon?
I know look at the track list because I have...
Because I'll go through mine. Like,
go for it,
so obviously Cracker Island, Thundercat, amazing. And I'd probably also have to list Oil with Stevie Nicks. Because...
Which is such one of those tracks where, like, I heard in the same day that I think that I watched your review, I watched a review of Fantano and I watched another review from some guy that I'm not sure of. And I sent them both to you, like, two completely different album reviews, and they both gave it the same score. Anthony Fantano liked Oils. This other guy hated Oils. I wish I could remember. It's in his inbox. He'll send it out to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird as fuck, man. The Stevie Nicks version of it is, I love her vocal ability, her way that she, like, you know what? It's weird. Like, musicians when they grow older, usually their voices can just fade away and become shit. However, I think Stevie Nicks' voice, despite the disastrous amounts of cocaine she would have done in her past, it's empowered her.
It's made her it's really given her some grit.
And it's a great level of grit. Like, it's got this cool bluesy undertone to it.
Like almost like a Patti Smith spoken word piece or something. Like, it's just it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And she still has it. Like, she's still got it. She's still got all the attitude. She's still got all the musicality. She's like...
I'm doing it, man. And
singing about how Oil's fucked for the world. Like, it's so good.
Exactly. And the way that they just bounce off each other, like the way that her vocals suddenly soar into the song and become harmonised with his. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's such a... And it's... What are we, 2 tracks in?
Yeah, 2 tracks in.
Amazing.
And the first 2 tracks are amazing.
One of the best. I mean, you've already picked one, and then the second one after that, you've already picked the best as well. Continue. Give us a couple more.
I would have to say, outside of those few tracks there's some interesting ones. I came around to the one featuring Tame Impala. That was a bit...
You didn't like that, but I understand why. I am a personal Tame Impala fan. I saw Tame Impala live 22, 21, whatever it was. Well, yeah, 22 it must have been when they were in Sydney.
Okay.
I'm a big fan. I don't think he's a genius. Like, he gets revered. And I get the meme too, like, oh my god, it's one person. But I think, like, he has got a very good, solid sound. Like his first album, his second album, they really are special, especially Lonerism. They really are special. And it's not a good thing that New Gold sounds like a Tame Impala song because it's on a Gorillaz album. It's a good thing because it fits into the album. You know, like it is.
Yeah.
Is it Bootsy Brown? Is it that does the singing? Booty Brown.
Booty Brown.
I've heard that he's like actually, and I'm sorry for Booty Brown fans. He's actually some really influential, really important rapper from some important rap group that's like made better. And I think it was Fantana that was the one that informed me that he sounds like shit on this album, on this song. And I'm like,
really?
I want to listen to more by him because that was great. Like, I was into it. Even if it was simple, it was a simple song. It didn't need to be anything complicated.
No. They don't need to be overcomplicated tunes.
It was great.
I didn't. Another one I didn't mind, which seemed to hit home a bit, for this channel, the Tide Influencer. Yeah, I'm just listening to like, this is a cool lo-fi little tune. It's just chilling.
It's a bit over. I guess I can see critics to the song. Like it's a bit over. It's a bit
thin.
No, not necessarily thin. It's a bit like, the idea is kind of silly. Like the Tide Influencer. Ooh, no one wants to hear from him, them, whatever. But I don't know. It's emotional. It's attractive. Like it really does. It really does sound like they believe what they're saying. It's good. I get it. I'm in for it. Doesn't sound fake. It sounds real. Like which is ironic from a band that's technically not real. It's not a real band.
Can I? Yeah, here's an hypothesis for you. Hypothesis? I don't know. What the fuck is the word I'm trying to think of? I don't know, but here's one for you to think about. Can a band that is not real be tired?
Is that's the question. Going home late at night, hanging up his gorilla-sized boots.
See, the skinny little ape inside you would like to say something. He's a very tired influencer.
I'm very tired right now.
I'm tired and I want to sleep.
Hey guys, skinny ape. Hey guys, don't make fun of me. I'm very tired right now. Yeah, it is true. Can he be? But I agree. Another good song. Further to that, I agree with all of those picks. Silent Running, such a great track. I get that stuck in my head, and apparently the deluxe version, the real stripped back version, where it's I guess it's more of a ballad now.
On the bonus track.
On the bonus track,
it's that's cool.
That's great.
I love that.
It's great too.
I almost consider it better.
Well, I mean, I've heard that, but I mean, I was already hooked. I was already hooked on Silent Running as I heard it. I don't know if I prefer the deluxe version because I guess contextually, I feel like Silent Running on the album speaks deeper. I think it go from Silent Influencer to Tide Influencer to Silent Running, or Tide Influencer to Silent Running. It's like it fits right in. It's great. It flows. It's not like a concept album like Plastic Beach was, but all these tracks they're not in a bubble. They're all like they're presented together as a full piece of work.
Yeah, because like you were saying, I mean, it's not a concept album, but it flows well into it. It's not just separate songs either. So it's well produced.
Yeah, it's definitely
well produced there. And
which is probably your biggest critic of
the previous album. Just fucking a bunch of songs and we're going to flip the whole in together. Okay, cool. That's
2 hours worth of one single.
Yeah. You had one good song out of these last two albums.
What the fuck is happening? I'm still listening to the same album. I've
driven
from Sydney to Melbourne and I'm still going.
I think we've covered a lot to do with Gorillaz there. That's a lot to talk about.
I don't that's not the review of Cracker Island, but
no, it's not. No. My review is a lot shorter, people. I swear. You're gonna listen to it, right? See,
5 minutes. See,
under 5 minutes. Yeah, get it under there. Anyway, we will move on though. I reckon because Tool is a massive band.
Huge.
And what we're going to discuss will piss people off. Let's rip that Band-Aid off, motherfuckers. Band-Aid.
Okay, so how much do we hate Tool?
Fuck them.
Especially James Kennard.
I saw this meme and it was saying that Tool songs were nothing but a bunch of thick bass lines with conspiracy theory lyrics. And I'm like,
yes, exactly. They're great. Like, the meme is right. Stop bullying me. He's not wrong.
Welcome to Live Listener Race. We're going to tell you how the moon landing was faked. According to James Magic Keating.
Are we speaking specifically about Enema now, or are we talking about 10,000 Days too? Because his mum did actually die and it was very sad.
Yes. No, see, 10,000 Days, that's how long it took to do the editing behind it. And as you can see, when you layer that along with Enema, prison song, because it's talking about fucking the world, and that is how you get the fake moon landing, even though he was born after that.
Sounds like a Bill Hicks skit already.
I know it does. People, that's trademarked. Fuck you.
Click that on a short.
That's a short right there. We love Tool. I've seen them. Yeah,
jealous.
Tool
You
was-
were actually, did you go to the COVID concert too, wasn't it? Or?
It was my last show before COVID.
Yeah.
Fucked everyone
It
in
was
the arse.
because I remember that you went to them, and then they were in New Zealand not long after, and it was a super spreader event. So, so no conspiracy theories are real. Don't get vaccinated.
Oh, man, that's because they knew what happens with the sheep over there in New Zealand. I'm just saying, fuck you. It's alright, American people in America, who are the people watching most of this stuff on the channel, it's because New Zealanders fuck sheep.
What's the joke? New Zealanders invented condoms back in the 1800s using sheep intestines, and Australians perfected it by taking it out of the sheep.
No, I think there's another joke I heard which was like, oh, Australia's got a bunch of fucked up and deadly animals. And then the reverse is saying, oh yeah, well that's because New Zealanders, they saw what the New Zealanders did to sheep and they decided to get out of there.
Oh, we love New Zealanders here.
Yes,
I don't think
yes.
I've ever met a New Zealand person who's not the nicest, the friendliest, the etc. But they're our closest neighbour besides Indonesia.
Yeah, we got to knock someone, and it's going to be New Zealanders.
They can take
sorry,
a joke.
guys.
They're closest to our humour in Australia.
And I did a review as well on Alien Weaponry, who are fucking awesome.
Oh, actually, you send me Alien Weaponry. Yes, yeah.
Hatu Patu, awesome track.
Cool.
And the fact that they sing all of them Maori,
So
next
good.
level.
So good.
But
Actually,
we're not
there was
talking
a-
about Alien
Sorry.
Weaponry for this one. We're talking
about Tool.
We're talking about Tool, which
Yeah.
involves alien weaponry. On 2000 days. You heard it here first. This is the 6 degrees of separation.
They're
So,
coming. I can't speak very long.
yeah.
Straight off that
Rosetta Stoned. Oh, man. So,
Where do you
okay.
begin? Do you want to start with their first album? Or do you want to start with their latest
You know what?
album?
I had all this thing planned out because of the... Because I was
It's
going
what
to
you
pick
want to
Tool
talk
for
about.
you.
It's what
I
you
was
want to
going to
talk
pick
about.
Tool for you.
We can do a whole episode and agree to have this same topic talked about twice.
No. It just ruins the experience, you know. You can only
It's not what
put-
the people are here for.
So yeah, sorry, that's what we're talking about. This whole divergence. I saw them live, and it was before COVID.
Yes.
So I saw them with Author and Punisher. And people who don't know, Author and Punisher, basically, imagine 9 Inch Nails on crack. No. Imagine 9 Inch Nails on meth.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Very
so
confusing. So we're not talking about Death Grips yet.
not even... Death Grips has nothing on fucking Author and Punisher. I'm talking about my
Oh,
experience.
I've already got a spoiler of where you might go with this. I mean, you know, I'll be right back. Continue talking.
Yeah, I'll just talk to the camera blankly and put myself across the screen in a large font just saying, he went to go get her beer. Oh, while you're there, can you give me a Jack and Coke in the fridge?
Absolutely.
He's my bitch now.
Beer, bitch.
So, when you're going into it, I saw Author and Punisher, thanks man. And these guys are like 9 Inch Nails, but heavier. The guy has a mechanical engineer's and electrical engineer background, right? So he made his own tool, which he calls, I don't know, the massive Fucktron 5000. And basically it's like he's got this gridiron type of arm thing which shifts the pitch of his sounds and makes a drum beat and crap like that. Then he's got a spinning fucking ball thing that he spins for revolutions per minute and that produces like this low warble. And that is like this big metallic ball that weighs a fucking ton.
Literal ton.
This instrument he has made is one of a
Who's
kind.
this? I'm going to look them up right
Author
now.
and Punisher. I did a review on their album Crueler. The very first track was in my top 10 songs of 2022. What was the track called? Drone Carrying Dread. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's... I remember listening to them because I'm like, I know this band. I'm excited to see what they're about. But I can only listen to like 4 tracks before it gets too much.
It's too much. It's too experimental.
It's too full on. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, okay. As in full on, is it like it makes you feel like cacophaned, like you're in a
I guess.
wall of sound?
Oh, well, I can tell you straight up, they were the loudest band I've ever seen. I was sitting there in the mosh pit with my beer, and I swear, like, my beard must have just been shaking the whole time.
Re-fermenting under
Yeah.
nucleation
It's
points.
just got all this carbonation frothing up at the point, and I'm just
Hey, my
looking
beer's
at
not
this-
flat anymore.
Have you tried rolling the can? No, so,
Yes.
don't need to do that when you're at an Author and Punisher concert.
Don't need to do that with
Shit.
DX because it is rolled enough.
But yeah, I was standing there in the middle of the mosh pit because that's all I had, floor seats, and he's playing his thing, and I could feel it reverberating in my bones,
Awesome.
and it was like crushing my fucking chest,
Awesome.
and the sound was so loud and full on, I couldn't breathe.
Whoa.
That was intense. It felt like I had just been in a car crash.
You witnessed the brown note.
No, not even that. No. It was like I had just been in a car crash and I just couldn't breathe. At one point I had to walk out because it was that intense. So
I'm looking at him live now doing something. I can barely hear it.
Oh man, there's a video that
That's
talks
insane.
about his whole instrument building, and it's just great. I'll make a link on
Yeah,
that. I'll
link
put
it.
it up here and all that crap.
I'll stop watching
So-
YouTube while I'm on YouTube.
But we're talking about Tool again. So they came on. They were absolutely phenomenal.
Which, you know, this also then speaks right about Tool. Like, if they know about Author and Punisher and they want to put Author and Punisher out before them, then they kind of want that experience. They want that build-up. They want that, you know, they want that noise. They want that reverberation. Tool wants you to be able to feel. I think maybe
want
James
a mad
Keenan
experience.
screaming at people, wake up. Not literally, but literally sheep. Wake up, you know, like, the world is your oyster. Do something with it. You can do this. I'm making wine. I am making music. I basically work 3 days a week. Like, yeah, you can achieve anything. It speaks to Tool. Could you imagine going to a Tool concert without being completely, like, introduced to something weird?
Yeah, it's... No,
Something
you can't.
different,
I mean,
something
like, the
interesting.
thing was, I remember the concert was no camera phones allowed.
Yep, that sounds like Tool too.
Yep.
Actually,
Only by the last song were they allowed to take photos.
Yep.
And oh my god, it was a sea of... I tell you what, it was better for it. I kind of only don't like the fact that I just didn't get, say, one or two photos, or a couple of photos here.
I think I have a...
But it is better.
Yeah,
It's
I
better.
agree. It makes everyone's all of a sudden listen to the music. You're not trying to get the perfect Instagram. I saw recently, I had family on, not my family, but my partner's family went to a, you remember The Darkness?
Oh yeah,
Went to a
Justin
Darkness
Hawkins,
concert.
brother.
And Justin Hawkins rides again, next podcast.
Yeah. Come on my show, man. I
He
want to get
was-
you on.
You can do it, you can do it. He'll come and tour Australia again soon, don't worry.
Fuck yes.
He was in an Australian concert, I think it was like at the Metro in Australia, and there was one song he stopped halfway through and he's like, you right there, you're the official filmer for tonight. Everyone else put their phones away, you film. And everyone else put their phones
no
away, and
way.
then, like, that's the guy that films the show. And he
Shut
uploaded
up.
it on YouTube. Yeah, look it up.
That's awesome. That's
Look it
the
up.
way to do it, man.
Yeah, and you know, like all the comments say in that video, it was the best way to do it.
Because the other thing as well, like, of course, how do you combat this shit? You know, I saw people getting kicked out in the concert because they were filming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you should have fucking, like,
Yeah,
taken it
you were
seriously,
warned.
right? You were warned, and there was signs up beforehand. If you are caught filming, you will be ejected. They told
And they
everyone
took
that
it
came
seriously.
in.
They didn't want it.
How do you combat this shit, you know? Because there are, on the other hand...
Fear Inoculum, right? It would have been Fear Inoculum had just been out.
Fear Inoculum, yep. And all I can think about is the meme where it's like that guy winning the medal, biting it, shaking the champagne, kissing the lady, and then it's like the podium full of other winners, and it's like Fear Inoculum's at the bottom. And I'm like, it's kind of true, except there's another album that sits beneath that people.
Unreal. And that's not to say that the winners don't deserve what they won.
Oh no!
But
I mean, this is a band that has not produced a bad album.
Yeah.
One of those bands.
Right.
People will always say, Tool's fucking overrated. Eat a dick.
And they can. And I mean, so they might be overrated, but that's probably to speak about how rated they are.
Yes.
People love Tool, and they shouldn't, like, I don't know, because I feel weird. If you don't like Tool, that's fine. But I didn't like Tool when I first heard them. You know, the first time that I heard the title track off Anima, I was like, I need more.
Oh.
Like, what was that?
Oh, actually, fuck. Now I thought about it. Just quickly diverging here. I'm going to be on a pod. I'm going to be on another YouTuber's channel very shortly before this comes out. And we're talking about Frog Stomp.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting little side note here, because Frog Stomp influenced the sound of Tool.
There you go. There you go.
So when the guitarist... Oh, shit. What's his name?
You can do this. I don't know.
I
I don't
can
even
do
know
this,
James Keenan.
but-
I'm so sorry. Oh,
Yeah,
you're talking about
the guitarist of Tool.
of Tool.
When he heard Frog Stomp, he's like, I want that guitar tone on my next album. And pretty much every album since then, he's emulated that tone to a degree. So, interestingly enough, the Australians have... Adam Jones, yes.
Sorry. We're
Um,
fact-checking
we have to
fact-checking ourselves
fact-check.
in real time.
Yep. Hey, come on now. If the most famous bloody Spotify guy, Joe Rogan, can do it live streaming shit, then we can do it.
Billy,
you know?
pull that clip up. Have you seen that guy getting hit by a moose?
But yeah, looking at it, Australians have influenced Tool.
Yeah.
That's how simple it is. That's sick. But yes, seeing them live, they're fucking incredible. They are amazing. You know,
And I wouldn't have been listening to the album live. You would have seen it. You would have seen it live. If anyone actually hasn't seen Tool live, I think the best way to see them live straight away is to go onto YouTube and look up What's the one where he's the drunk addict? It was in the 90s and he was doing the oh, I'm just going to have to look it up. I'm so sorry.
No, you're right. Actually, I was just going to mention quickly, though, at the concert that I was at, it was the first time that they played Tempest, or Seven Empest. I don't know how you want to pronounce it. So Tempest was first performed live in Sydney at the show I was at. Interesting little fact for you people out there. So,
there you go. Sober Live 1992, I think, or 93 or whatever it was. And if you don't understand Tool and you don't like Tool or anything like that, then there's actually a really good video of a vocal coach watching him and like responding to him. Her, yes. The girl.
Oh, charismatic voice.
Is that Charismatic Voice?
Yes.
Yeah, when Charismatic Voice is talking about it, and you can see Manny James Keenan, he's all hunched over.
Yes.
And he's singing like clear and beautiful. He's got this really, because he's got a really wide range of music that he can sing, and it's actually quite interesting. And listening to the vocal coach explain like a little bit of why he's so important to you, it was an inspiration point for me. It was when I was getting into Tool. It was when I was finally like biting the apple and giving it a go. You know. Go and watch that live.
Yeah, because the way he was hunched over would affect his vocal
and
patterns.
And banging on his chest and singing, and it is like, why can we not be sober? Yeah. So good. I can't sing, but yeah, so good.
Sorry, I'm totally deaf. It sounded amazing.
He's good. Put him on the record.
Sign him up. Put him on 10,000 records. So yeah, it's going back on a tour. It's a band. I've not bought one of their CDs, but I magically got all of them. So
LimeWire. Shout out to LimeWire.
Yeah,
shout out to Lime and Cola.
Shout out to the Windows. Shout out to the poor computer at home that got viruses.
Ah, yes, my favourite Tool album, Anima.exe.
Be downloading some song and be like, oh, hit me, baby. Fuck!
Hit me, baby.
That took 10 minutes to download. Actually, no. It would take 30 minutes. Actually, it was Tool. It would take half an hour.
Oh, God, how long are their songs?
Oh, very long. Very long. Depending on which ones, but very long.
But I mean, they're not really that long. I mean, some of the songs I've seen longer songs. Longer songs are more or less interesting. Longer songs are less interesting.
I like these songs.
Sometimes.
They're long. And they're interesting.
But they don't waste time, I think. Like,
they don't. There's nothing. A lot of progressive music has the danger of becoming nuanced wanker territory type tunes, where we're gonna play a drum solo for 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah. And sometimes that's hard. Like, it's impressive, but it's hard to translate.
Yeah, you can look back at bands like Dream Theater. Well, every fucking progressive metal.
Rush.
Yeah, Rush.
And like, not throwing bands under the bus, but they're like...
They've got like, all those bands have got great tunes. But,
renowned.
At the same time, you can look at some of the longer tracks and they've got some terrible tunes. Relayer, for example, is a band... album by Yes. It's just 4 long tracks. They're like 20 minutes each. Yeah. And it's not that great. It's okay, but it's just...
And that's also not to say anything against the people that like that album. It's just, if you like to listen to it, thank God someone likes it, because... what the hell is going on?
Yeah. I mean, like, I remember, I'm not going to go down Yes, but that'll be just on another part. But yeah, look, going back onto it, I remember seeing in high school, the way I got introduced to Tool, I should say, was this band doing a live performance during a lunch, and they played Tool's Schism. Mm-hmm. And I was like, holy shit,
I was
this
watching
is awesome.
Schism clip, like the film clip of Schism, as I was waiting for you to turn up here on your porch today.
Nice.
So good.
I remember just like being transfixed on this because it's such an intriguing bass and guitar work.
It's bizarre. It's so bizarre.
Ding,
and the
ding,
and the drums like matching everything, and like it's just
it's
so
very
bizarre.
Precise shit.
But it's not unlistenable. It's not avant-garde. It's not like...
It's math rock, people. We did get there in the end.
It's derivative. It's not... no, it's fantastic. And like, it took me a long time too. So yeah, continue.
I somehow got their CD, and it would have been probably a year or so after that, and the rest they say could be history. 10,000 Days came out. I remember getting that pretty much after it came out, or a friend of mine got it, and I managed to borrow it. And
I remember those days.
And this was actually when you had physical media, and their albums were weird.
Yeah. Because
10,000 Days had the little goggles, and
right.
you could see something in the artwork. And this is like, I mean, you go to most album artworks out there, and it's got the lyrics, and that's fantastic. But 10,000 Days, for example, had these little goggles with the album artwork, where if you looked at it with the book, it would produce an image that's kind of like I don't know, see 1001 images or some shit like that from you know what I mean. It was this weird
like
thing,
a 3D thing, or
yeah, you know. And Tool in particular is one of those bands that talk a lot about that incorporate various elements that are very intriguing.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about people. Comment below on your favorite Tool secret hidden thing.
Gem.
Because I'm going to talk now about hidden gems from Tool right this instant. Let's start off with the Fibonacci sequence.
In Lateralis.
Black
and white are
all I see in my infancy. Red and yellow came
to me. Lets me see. Oh, I can't remember.
All the numbering and stuff like that.
I'm not smart enough for this.
Now, just if you could rant on for a minute, because I actually forgot my paperwork in the other room, I will come back with an interesting note.
Yes, please.
So please, preamble about Tool. What would be your favourite hidden sequence?
I don't know about hidden sequences straight away. The Fibonacci sequence kills me as well, actually. I'm glad to be getting into it, and I'm glad to have some sort of a research behind it as well, because I don't feel qualified enough to be talking about Tool. It's a band, and I don't feel qualified enough to be talking about it. But I can talk about the first song that I heard, and I remember the first time I heard it, I was working in a kitchen, and shout out to my favourite head chef of all time, played the title track of Anima. And
nice.
That whole thing, that's a secret, that's a Bill Hicks joke. That's a Bill Hicks joke of Bill Hicks's Arizona Bay.
Yes.
And not only was Bill Hicks referenced in that song entirely, he's sampled.
Quoted.
Yeah, quoted and sampled on the album. He's there. Like, it's not a band, it's a rock band that's sampling a comedian, and they spoke directly about it in interviews, saying that he inspired their music. Like, it's bizarre. Like, it's just
this weird out of, I wouldn't say body, but out of a different kind of mentality, a different mental state or something. It's taken a bit.
It's exactly what philosophy likes to do, but philosophy likes to do it with just philosophers, it's actually taking other forms of art and media, taking other forms, saying, we're not just musicians, we're people, we actually have interests, we do things, Maynard James Keenan making wine by himself for ages. How long do you do? They're still doing that. Like, it's,
that's a lifelong goal.
It's amazing. Like,
it always changes.
And the way that his actual approach to it, like, he doesn't want to talk about how the grapes are. He wants to talk about how it's impossible to grow wine in California. So he does it anyway.
I'm going to do it. Fuck you.
I can prove it to you. No other wine tastes like my wine because no wine comes from California. Unless it's a Californian wine. If you've not seen this clip by, remember H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds, the radio show?
Yeah.
The guy that did the voice for that, what's his name? Orson Welles doing a commercial for this Californian wine, and he's so drunk, and he's like, French celebrated everywhere for their excellency, and you can just see these are the ramblings of a tanked man being filmed. Yes, I'll if you don't put it on there, I will be in the comments putting that link in, because
so tell me what it is again.
Orson Welles.
Yeah.
Orson Welles. Wine commercial, champagne commercial.
Make sure you edit that in at this point.
Orson Welles champagne commercial. It's so funny.
Alright, I'll have to edit it right about
French.
now.
This champagne doesn't come from France, but it was created by a man who did. Paul Masson.
102, take 2.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence.
Now, I've got two things at least to talk about. We've talked about the Fibonacci sequence, of course, used in Lateralis, but did you know that there is also another Fibonacci sequence used in the album?
Yeah, okay.
So, are you aware of, they call it the Holy Gift? So, within the album, of course, the Holy Gift is the name given to rearrange the band's groundbreaking 2001 release, Lateralis, the album which is considered by many of the bands to be its opus, and, of course, break them into the prog rock, full art rock, blah, 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 while maintaining their progressive life, fuck off. So, lyrically and stuff, who cares, things get really deep on the record, on the lyrics. So, we talked about the Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci sequence is a number that just grows on from the other.
I can actually speak a little bit from a mathematical perspective.
Please explain the Fibonacci sequence.
The Fibonacci sequence was obviously found by a mathematician, Fibonacci. It It's a never-ending sequence, so it's a sequence that starts and then it just goes on forever. And the way that I've heard it best described is the present plus the present plus the past gives you the future. So if it starts with 1, then it moves on to 1 because 1 plus 0 is 1, and then 1 plus 2 is 3, which is the next number. 3 plus 2 is 5, and so on. So, and that also like feeds into music, fretboards. They go 3, 5, 7, 9.
Yeah.
There's and it comes up not just in as a mathematical sequence. It comes up too in real life. So from the Fibonacci sequence, which I'll look up the mathematical equation right now.
And if you look up as well, the curve in regards to the Fibonacci
which is where I'm going
sequence
to,
is a massive, and I'll put it up here on the image now. But a Fibonacci sequence is like this tidal. I guess you could describe it as looking like a hurricane from the top almost. It's this circular curve going in or out, depending on how you look at the Fibonacci sequence. But yeah, that is essentially it. The numbers that progress forever and they keep going, and pretty much it's just moving on. 1, 3, 5, what is it, 8 I think after that, or 9. Can't think.
Can't do math here.
I can't do math
1, 3,
after
5,
a few
8,
whiskeys.
13, 21, 34. But so another key takeaway of the Fibonacci sequence is it gives you a ratio between the numbers in the Fibonacci sequence of 1.618, which is another never-ending number like pi, so it goes on forever. That ratio is very important in nature because plants, for instance, as plants are, if you look down the head of a pine cone, it actually grows in a Fibonacci sequence because as a plant grows, it always grows towards the light, but it twists and it twists out, and its flowers always come out as a Fibonacci sequence away from each other. Because that way, as a golden ratio away from each other, because that's the most light that next leaf can get. So then the next leaf comes out, it comes out a golden ratio away from the next leaf, and the next leaf comes out a golden ratio away from the last leaf, and it keeps growing like that. And all plants, not all plants, I guess, but all plants have been
follow that sequence.
What do you call it? Yeah, they follow the sequence. They've been observed to have followed this sequence. Pine cones are a great one to look at because if you look down the end, you can see the spiral down the end of the pine cone of the way that they are. Basil leaves, if you look down from top to bottom over a basil plant, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Could you imagine the botanist who's like smoked too much herb and just been like,
yeah,
dude,
the one that like did a minor.
Have you looked at a pine cone?
Smoking through a pine cone that he's drilled a hole in. Like,
the more you know. Someone's just going, did we really spend 10 years?
The golden ratio is used not just in biology, but it's used in physics. It's used in it's a thing. It's like this real big thing. It's a thing.
It's a mathematical equation.
And I'm not smart enough yet. I'm only doing a math degree now, so fingers crossed I finish.
So the the holy gift, everyone obviously is talking about the Fibonacci sequence, which we just diverted about the whole 5 minutes of, so as simply as we could. But however, if you take the concept work when employed across the entire record, can you do so? The answer is probably yes with Tool. Hey, anything's really possible. Anything's possible. What fans have done is split the album in half into a pair of figurative spirals with the number 13 at the middle. Starting in the middle with the paired tracks Parabola and Parabola, the number sequences goes as follows, and there's a bunch of numbers after this, but basically you can redo the entire track list of the album Lateralus so that the track list would instead flow as Parabol, Parabola, Schism, Ticks and Leeches, Mantra, Lateralus, The Grudge, Triad, Eon Blue, Apocalypse, Reflection, The Patient, Disposition. Now I actually have this saved on a Spotify playlist as Fibonacci sequence. That's it.
I have to listen to this.
And it is the better version. I can say
I've got things to say about that, don't worry.
Because if you listen to the way it's edited, for example, Schism, which abruptly ends, doesn't really do so when it goes into Ticks and Leeches.
There you go.
And it does this on a few other tracks as well, Parabol and Parabola.
Like, this has become my favourite Hidden Tool gem because I knew that there was more to it, but there you go.
There's a lot more to Tool.
You know what a parabola is? Everyone knows what a parabola is. It's a graph that's x squared. Sorry.
Yes, that's right. There's a whole bunch of maths, everyone. Told you we get on again. Maths.
Math rock.
It's not just for nerds. It's for people who like Tool. Oh shit! Now I'm math nerds.
Love it. Anyway, and that's the thing. That also speaks to their wide, overarching fan bases. People that are not quote unquote stupid. You know, like people that are ready to do this kind of work to read their albums.
Yeah, I mean, and there's another good example on 10,000 Days. So, do you know about the hidden track within 10,000 days?
Oh, okay, so the last thing that I know, the thing that I will say about... No, I don't. The thing that I can say about Tool is that the one album that I haven't delved into deep enough, and like I guess Lateralis is one of those ones that I haven't because I didn't know that, but the one album that I haven't listened to properly, I should say, is 10,000 Days, because I find it's a very personal take. Like, it's so personal.
I'm glad I finished my drink, or otherwise it'd be on the wall.
You would have spat on me.
No, it'd be on the wall, and it's really hard to drink.
What?
Yeah. Hang on, let me just drink my... Say it again?
I haven't listened to 10,000 Days properly. Yeah, so, no, I haven't heard this. Tell me. It's hidden track.
I'm disappointed.
I'm sorry. I'm metal is not my thing. When I was a little kid,
you're getting there. That's fine. That's fine.
What am I up to now? Virtual 11, I think, on Iron Maiden, based on your video alone. And I agree with you. Virtual 11 deserves more respect. However, that singer change. Whoa! Who? It's not even like
Blaze Blakely. Or
it's
whatever.
not like they picked someone that sounded the same. They went for a completely different sound, and it is. It's that first album when he's on it. It's very jarring. Very jarring.
But going on from there, I guess.
Tangents.
Goddamn tangents.
It's a Tool talk.
Yeah, I know. Everybody, the hat's off. Here we go. So, when it comes to 10,000 days, I mean, obviously you mentioned there is the history of it. There is Maynard's mum who was paralysed, passed away after 30 years of battling such...
was it AS or MS or something?
Sorry?
Was it AS or MS or something like that?
Something like that. She had some chronic disease, and, it was a massive issue, of course. 30 years before she passed away. And that's roughly 10,000 days, which is also roughly the full rotation of Jupiter, which is every 33 years, I think. Someone correct me below.
33.33333.
Anyway, it's a Fibonacci sequence.
It's a golden ratio between Jupiter and Mars.
So, 10,000 Days is a song about his mother. And when you go into the track, actually, it's, I think the first track is, I cannot remember, but there was 10,000 Days Part 2. At least in regards to that album, and so I'll take a little tangent here for you while you're looking for it. Songs about grief are usually quite hard to digest, which is why I've stayed so clear from 10,000 Days at this present stage, because I'm pretty sensitive when it comes to that kind of stuff, just because I'm a little girl boy. But soy boy we say these days. Oh yeah, that's right. Say it right, or otherwise people will be offended.
And I feel like I wouldn't be doing the band a service if I didn't give them the time that if I didn't give them the 10,000 days that he's obviously put into this album. It's put into this song. He's wrote a love song for his mother. Like it's hard, man. Like you want to. There's another album that I will recommend to people that I also haven't listened to called A Crow Looked at Me. I can't remember the name of the band, but it was an album that was a The concept was that his wife had just recently died, I think, of cancer, and this album was the way that the husband, I can't remember his name, and I'm so sorry, but they dealt with their grief through this album. So I've heard something like that, and I thought that is really interesting. That sounds really great, and I know that I'll be into that because grief is it's real, it's visceral. Like I like things that make me feel things, but if I don't sit down and give that album the time of day, I feel like I've done it a disservice.
That's fair. It's fair. You can't just brush it off as a simple song.
And Lateralis, as beautiful as it is, it speaks for itself. Like it makes even when the track list is apparently wrong, it's all the songs are beautiful sounding. They're great. Yeah.
That's
I can't remember the names of them all, but it flows into itself beautifully. If it flows into itself better another way, my goodness, I'm so ready. Can't wait to go home and do this.
Very true. I do recommend that you do go down and listen to it. So obviously you got the Vicarious, great tune, Jambi, one of the best riffs to come out of 2006. But then it flows into Wings of Mary, Part 1, which Mary was his mother, and 10,000 Days Wings Part 2. Now, there are other tracks on there like The Pot, and then, we'll go into these tracks a bit later.
Black and, oh my goodness,
Rosetta Stone, Intention, right into. And it closes off with this weird track, Virginity Trays 3. So, the hidden track within 10,000 Days is this. 10,000 Days is a song that, hopefully if I play it quickly, there we go, pause it, is 11 minutes and 13 seconds long.
Yep.
The track Virginity Trays, if I'm mispronouncing it, I'm terribly sorry.
Tress.
Tress. People, Tress. Say it right, Frenchie. Is 5 minutes long. And Wings for Mary is, pause again, 6 minutes, 11 seconds.
Okay.
You're doing some math in your head there?
Not quick enough, but I understand where this is going.
Now, if you take 10,000 days, put it as layer 2.
11 minutes 26, was it?
11 minutes 13. All right. Take Virginity Trays, put it first underneath in layer 1, and then right after it, put Wings of Mary, part 1. They perfectly flow together.
Of course they do. Those
Virginity Trays is like this atmospheric piece of background noise that just adds elements to that intro. Because if you can remember when you've heard a bit of 10,000 Days,
yeah,
it's just that
and the
bass
thing that I know,
intro.
the little thing that I do know is that I've heard that Virginity Trace song, Virginity Tress, I'll say it right, is his mother being lifted off on her wings to heaven, because that's the end. That's the the unfortunately the end goal of the album. He was saying goodbye.
Of course. And when you're going through the song itself,
But that kind of dedication, just as an aside, my goodness.
Yeah. So to take 3 tracks and separate the layers and just put them as and to make them work.
Yeah.
To make 2 tracks work on it itself, but then you put them all together and it becomes this one almost super song.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Which is not a long song. Only one of them's a long song. 10,000 Days is a long song.
Yeah.
6 minutes isn't a long song in my eyes.
No, but the whole song
Not a
is
single, but
11
still a
minutes
long
long. I do find, though, this album, 10,000 Days, has my favourite track of all time, Right Into.
There you go.
And it talks about how basically angels... it's talking about angels giving sentience to monkeys. And they become fighting... they fight each other.
They do the wrong thing. They take the gift and they do something else with it.
Yeah, and basically these guys are amused by what they've done. The angels, and Right Into is an incredibly powerful tune. And
actually, as a side note,
tracks.
we got to remember that we're going to talk about Tool's film clips. We were talking about Gorillaz film clips before as well. The artwork behind the Tool's film clips is bonkers.
Sorry, I just remembered. We didn't mention the Gorillaz Clint Eastwood's video, which we just watched recently, how the hell that sample was used, which I will flash now. No, I'll flash before.
It was the
keyboard synthesizer where he pressed the button.
It was a pre-programmed thing.
Oh,
he was just and even Damon Albarn himself was like, you don't know this? No one knows this?
Yeah, I know, right? What the fuck? But yes, the video clips for Tool are next level. Because it's like
back
most...
in the 90s,
a lot of clay animation,
2000s.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Using animation, even there was like a lot of Schism particularly was like all CGI, like it was computer generated images, but it was like it's bonkers, it's crazy, it's insane, and you can see like all these themes that are in their music it's in their film clips. Like it's not all in a bubble. Like so when people say they pull these albums apart and they find a better way to listen to the songs or the whole track listing, as if it's not somehow planned. Look at Mary James Keenan's other projects. A Perfect Circle's latest album, Eat the Elephant. Eat the Elephant's a brilliant album. And it's it's not a concept album, but it's not telling you the best way to do something straight off the gate is to just give it a go, start it, and then you'll get better at it 10,000 hours later. And by the end of that album, he's like he's done Thank You So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
Like it's amazing. Like and like so as if he's not putting all this stuff in there, as if he's not, because he's not an idiot. No. And neither's Dana Carey, is it the drummer?
Danny Carey.
And we already said his name and I forgot. Adam
Shit.
Adam Shit.
Adam Shit is his right name, I swear. Adam Levine.
Adam Levine. Stop it, people. Adam Jones. It's an easy name, and I can't remember these things. I'm too stupid for this.
And the bassist as well.
There's a bassist as well? What?
Fuck, he did. No way. There's a bassist in Tool? Actually,
Justin Chancellor has been in the band since 1995. Yep, replacing the original bassist Paul DeArmor. Okay.
Yeah, Paul DeArmor, who was also in the band.
It's probably Demore maybe, but I don't know. I don't speak French.
Shit, hang on. Paul Demore was in a band. I have a funny feeling it was like.
I'll find it.
Yeah, he was in another band.
Is he in Pussifier?
Pussifier?
Is that right? No, Ministry.
Yeah,
which is a great tie straight to Death Grips, because I should have worn the other shirt. They did a tour with Ministry. We'll talk about that later.
Ooh. That's intriguing. But
We're not talking about Death Grips yet. Let's leave that.
No, we'll get there in a minute though. But yeah, the video clips have to be mentioned because they're fucking weird as shit, man.
And they're crazy, and they're fantastical, and they're slightly longer than the songs sometimes too. So it adds a little bit more context. It takes its time. It's thought provoking. Actually, we were talking about secrets. There's another really cool thing in Tool, Fear Inoculum. The way that they've written Tool with the calligraphy and all that. If it's folded in half. Exactly, folded in half. It becomes a needle. It becomes an inoculum. Yeah, I'll flash the picture up on screen.
Yeah. Okay, I did not know that. So I knew there were some secrets.
There's secrets,
especially when you're looking at it.
I bought that album twice. I bought that album for a guy that I worked with from New Zealand for $300, and I bought a copy for myself, and that was my first Tool album that I bought.
Why the fuck did you spend $300 on it?
Because it was so worth it. I remember when it was coming out, and me and this guy that I was working with, we were just like, holy fuck, to the point of nauseam for all the other people around us. Oh, have you heard that new Fear Inoculum song? Have you heard that new Tool song? Oh my god, it's so good. It's 20 minutes long. Oh, it's so good. And that's what we were like the whole time. So I had to buy this album for his birthday coming up. And, you know, his birthday's November 5th, which remember the 5th of November. Conspiracy theories are all over the place. It was fake. I wasted my money. Shout out to Hayden.
Yeah, that's it. The powder trees. The powder.
Actually, Hayden, don't watch this because you can't know how much I spent on your birthday.
I thought we set a budget to $30.
It was stick with Sandy, you stupid bastard.
Fuck, now I feel bad. I got him a bar of soap and a towel.
Yes. Bar of soap and a towel? It's got my name written on it.
It's engraved. How do you engrave towels? What the fuck?
Embroidered.
It's embroidered.
The soap?
Clearly. Jeez, don't you know the difference between embroidery and engraving?
That's how they get it on the rope.
But no, like you said, great video clips. But let's go into quickly. Paul D'Amour was part of Ministry. Ministry was on tour with
Death Grips.
The last on this list. This is a band I haven't listened to in a little while, and I had a funny feeling you were going to pick.
I want to talk about Death Grips.
All right, tell me about your experience. You have seen Death Grips live.
Yes. So to complete the trio of live viewings of this, I have not seen Tool, but I have seen Death Grips, and I have seen Gorillaz with Chili.
That's an interesting one. We've seen one band apiece, and we've seen one band together.
Which is why I wanted to talk about this, because I knew that it was going to be difficult for me to pick between Tool and Death Grips and Gorillaz which one to erase, particularly.
Okay.
Which one to listen to once, because, you know, you only get to see them live once.
This is going to be a hard
And then
choice.
which one you never get to hear again,
So, you've seen them live.
And it was wild. It was not an over 18 show. It was an all ages show. I took my partner at the time.
How the fuck are they an all ages show when the cover of the album is a censored out
penis music?
That's it. It's a censored dick pic. Okay, go on. Sorry.
We'll get into that. I know.
So you went to the concert, and what the fuck happened?
You know, they tortured us. You know, the only photo that I took from that whole album, from that whole thing, was Enmore Theatre with Death Grips written on the side of it. It's my background on my computer. It's my favourite thing that I've ever done. I put my phone away. I didn't want to take any more photos.
No, fair.
I took my partner, Penny. She'd never heard a Death Grips song ever, except outside of hearing it third party me listening to it. Mm-hmm. She walked out of it going, I totally understand why you like that band. I totally get it. I will never listen to their music again. So for Penny, definitely listened. Then that's done. Sorry, definitely live, and then we're done. But it was crazy. They tortured us. You know, they played License to Ill by Beastie Boys. They played it like 4 times back to back. That was their opening track. They played it 4 times. They turned up like 30 minutes late. They didn't give a fuck. They come out. They had no stage banter. They just performed song after song after song, and they were, as far as I'm concerned, the loudest band I've ever heard. I was standing at the back of that hall because I didn't want to take Penny to the mosh pit to get punched in the fucking face. Like, I'm not a bad boyfriend. Well, I am, but I'm not a bad boyfriend when other people are involved.
Yeah, sure. I like to blame myself, not others. You know, at least I've got some dignity on that.
It was a range of people. I remember 13-year-olds walking in. I remember like people like slightly older than me. There was 40-year-olds there. I think I was standing next to this guy who was with had a cane. Like, it was.
What the fuck?
And the second the music started playing, everyone was wild. They were wild. It was just like everyone's dancing. There was no like There was no animosity. Like there was no like you're not supposed to be here. There was stupidity. I was wearing a.
Don't lie. You saw a 30-year-old elbow a 13 in the face.
I was at the back. I didn't see the front. But apparently, someone climbed down from the rafters of that concert to get to the dance floor. They got kicked out. But yeah. Anyway, they're just wild. It was just a wild experience. I was wearing a shirt that I bought that day from Dangerfield. Shout out to Dangerfield. And it had like a snake pattern on it, which if you know Death Grips, their Third World's their label is a snake curled around an egg, curled around a sword. So I was like trying to look. I just wanted them to
totally know that label.
I was just trying to notice me.
Notice me, I'm worthy.
I like you as a band. Someone walked past me and was like, "Oh my god, is that Gucci?" And I was like, "No, I bought it from Dangerfield. They stopped talking to me." So that's the one person that didn't deserve. It was apparently a Gucci design that got stolen, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I'm so happy that I stole this Gucci band. Yeah,
I'm proud of you on that. I'm proud of you on that.
Anyway,
part.
Seeing them live was an experience that I will not underlive. I can't remember. There was I'm not going to look at the set list. There was songs there that I know that I was interested to see how they would do it live because they're a 3-piece. There's only 3 of them. There's an amazing drummer, Zach Hill, who's rock trained. If you actually don't like Death Grips, you should probably listen to Hella, especially their first album.
Okay.
It's all instrumental. It's just this one drummer and this one guitarist, and it is wild. It's like if Tool is good at doing songs that have polyrhythms in it, Zach Hill is good at doing polyrhythms really fast, really loud.
Yeah. Really,
he's high on the hats, he's heavy on the bass. He's just all over the place. I've got photos on my computer of him doing practice where his hands are bleeding, all over the drum kit. I've got, they're just a band that I could talk about for hours. I don't know enough about them because no one really
plan
does.
to do so because we want more longer content for you people.
YouTube loves it too. Longer content all the way.
Fuck yes.
They just, and then there's Flatlander. He does. So Zach Hill, the drummer, does some of the production, but Flatlander, Andy Morin does most of the sampling, most of the cutting, most of the production, some of the production, I suppose, because they kind of cut it halfway.
Yeah.
And then there's, Mr. Grips himself, Stephen Brett, which could be Stephen Brett. I'm not really sure. I don't know how to pronounce things. I can't read properly. And that's it. That's the band. So Stephen's loud. He's abrasive. He's violent. He's violent looking. He's weird looking. He's got a fly tattooed on his face. On his chest. Like, there's just, the tattoos are all like, people want to know about him. People want to love him. People want to like hug him and say it's okay to be not okay, and he's just like, fuck! Like, he doesn't care. Like, it's done. I don't,
Yeah, it's
abrasive.
I remember the first time I played Death Grips, because the first and probably the only album I've ever listened to was that.
The Penis album?
No Love, Deep Web, people.
No Love, Deep Web.
Yep, and I just remember listening to them like...
And it starts off straight, like, just gets straight into it.
What the fuck is this? I'm like, it's like an album written by someone with ADHD who's clearly off the meds for a long time.
Fully schizoid.
It's full on. It was perplexing.
Loud. It's
loud,
weird.
perplexing, and
it doesn't have a particular, like, it is rap music in a sense that, like, he's rapping over it, but it's kind of, it's got a live drum kit. It's got a live rock drum kit. It's, then it samples something really, like, left of field. Like, it's just ridiculous.
I think that's one of the other ones that I liked about them because they had that live drum kit. And then I look at a band like NERD who used their live drummer, Chad Hugo, I think is his name. We'll say it is.
We know Chad, the drummer from NERD, but we love Tool and we don't know his name. Sorry, and I still forgot. I just read it out loud.
No, that's do it again. Right. But no, I'm pretty sure Chad...
We'll learn you, Danny Carey. We love you, Danny. Shout out to Danny.
I'm pretty sure Chad Hugo was the drummer, but anyway, it is just in regards to this thing. So, and I remember NERD was a band that I liked because of that drum kit. And then I'm listening to Death Grips and I'm like, I like this live drum kit as well. This is just fantastic. And it really worked out quite well. But if I'm going to be honest, No Love, Deep Web, whatever, that's the only album I have played out. That's the only album I've ever listened to by Death Grips.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think I played a bit of the other one, the one with the Japanese chick on the front. Fashion Week or something.
Oh, Fashion Week, really nice. What are you talking? Yeah, you're right.
Is it Fashion Week?
Yeah,
that's the one. I played a bit of that, and I was like,
not where you start, not where you go from No Love Deep Web.
No, I guess not.
Amazing.
And that's probably one of the reasons I kind of went off them because it's like probably not the right way to go, I guess.
The best way to do it is for you personally, ex-military. Start with ex-military. It's their first one. It's the picture of the Aboriginal that was folded up in Zach Hill's wallet for ages. They just really like the picture.
Okay.
It's more recognisable. The samples in it. There's like Beastie Boys samples on the album. There's this beautiful section where they essentially remix Pet Shop Boys, West End Boys. They remix that as this going into the 5D, and then they remix this part of the song, and it fits into the whole thing. And then straight after that, they cut to this like more schizophrenia. Like it's encompassing. It's noise that just makes you feel like someone is standing on your chest, and you're like, oh!
What are you doing to me? I need it.
There's actually a lyric in Death Grips, pressing down on the pillow on your face for no reason until I can't hear you breathing. So good. Actually, I got that all wrong. Pressing down on the pillow till I can't hear you breathing for no reason.
That sounds like some Deftones level shit, you know? Except it replaced pillow with knife, and then it's a Deftones lyric.
Dad.
Dad? No. This is not Pedro Pascal. I'm your daddy.
But daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy.
No. This is I don't know. It's one of those bands, I guess.
Too experimental for Chili. You've heard it here first.
I've listened to a lot of experimental stuff, but yeah, I guess to a degree that's true. It was just not my
not his
cup
vibe.
of
Plus,
tea.
you're not a big rap person, which is like
I don't mind rap. No, I don't mind rap at all. I love 90s rap and 80s rap.
Exactly, but you're not a big like
a bit different.
New rap these days. New stuff is like it's hard to find something that you really enjoy. Like I can say, for example, I really liked Lil Yachty's first album when it first came out, but I knew deep down in my heart that him mumble rapping wasn't really rap. And then
I think mumble rap is the thing that turned me off the new. What the fuck? Yeah, and then there's like this whole. Again, not to talk down about the British scene, but then there was the British scene.
Oh, what do they call that?
And Hilltop Hoods, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, they're cool, but I just don't like the Aussie rap
what do
scene.
They call it? Trap? Is it not trap?
It's not trap. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Some fucking
drill in America, in England.
Take your word for that.
Drill.
One. Yeah, it's a
thing that's come back to Australia, man.
Yeah, okay. It's a thing.
Have you heard of 1-4? Before I go,
I look like a. Listen to 1-4.
I'm going to show you 1-4.
You'll show me off the air.
You won't like it. Shout out to 1-4. Don't kill me.
But yeah, like it rap's not the same as. Fuck, it's now sounding like a goddamn.
You're one of those old people.
Rap's not the same since the G-Funk era. Snoop Dogg Pound, Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, bitch. You know?
Into the phone. Sorry.
Snoop Dogg and now Dre's at your door. Ready to make an inch, so back on up.
Cause you about to rip shit up.
Give me the microphone first so I can burst like a bubble. Come to the Long Beach together now, you know you ain't trouble. Ain't
So
nothing but a
good.
G thing, baby. Too loped out, going crazy. Death Row is a label that pays me. So unfeedable, so please don't try to fade me. Yeah,
Crazy.
Anyway, so
Were you
Wu-Tang...
an Eminem fan too, side note?
I wasn't at first. Definitely not, actually. But, well, history's a bitch, ain't it?
Yeah,
you know?
and it's hard to disagree with how good he is.
He is amazing. But even still, like I don't mind him. I definitely never liked him back in the at the time.
He was so overplayed. There was like
it wasn't so much about being overplayed. It was the fact that I was into metal, and I hated anything but.
Yeah. Well, we have those days. I was into. I don't really remember what I was into, but I had to get listened to a lot of Oasis, so my music sense was stunted. Thank you, James, my brother.
Wow. Wonderwall. Anyway, fuck off. So, yeah,
Which
that's PTSD.
I think on this show you both unanimously erased, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who else was on it. Blur and... Anyway, that's a side thing. So
we erased Oasis.
Oasis was the main thing.
We very much remember the rest of the people.
Two good albums and fuck the rest. So, anyway...
But we were this close, man. We were this close. Did you get that close to the Beatles? I can't do his accent.
No.
I got a lot of
The Beatles are a completely different one. But yeah, look, I love rap. I love 90s rap. I love 80s rap. You know, NWA, De La Soul, all that shit. But I'm a gatekeeper. I am. 100%. 2000s, not so bad. There's some good shit out there with like I was about to say ASAP Rocky, but that would be very incorrect of me. Iron Galaxy, Deltron 3030.
Andre 3000.
Outkast. How the fuck did I miss Outkast?
He's the guy that's the most under talked about, probably the best rapper alive, but we still don't talk about him. It's not fair.
Yeah, but that's because he hasn't done anything for 15 fucking
Yeah, but he's
years.
on every single time he's on a track, it just stops the world. Like, everyone that's in rap goes, oh, we were wrong.
Yeah. And also was on a song by the Gorillaz.
Which you should watch. Everyone should watch. Chili introduced me to this. 15 minutes long. Was on an ad for...
It was an ad. Yeah, it was an ad for a shoe. Converse. Converse, yes.
Ridiculous. And it's such a good song.
It is.
Such a good track. I think there's a point where, like, what does he say? I'm the shit? Like, he just repeats, I'm the shit.
Yeah, I'm the shit for like 10 minutes. Yeah, okay,
brilliant.
Fair enough.
And he is. I can't disagree with him.
Yeah.
So we also brought up NERD, Rolling Them Sevens, off NERD's latest album featuring Andre 3000. Like, another fantastic Andre 3000 verse.
Yeah. I like the first like 2 albums. That's about it.
And NERD's latest album is very, very good. It's very new rap. It's very like it's got a lot of young people on it, but it's not. It sounds very high produced because Pharrell's not an idiot. Pharrell's very good at making music.
Yeah, he knows his shit.
I don't know. I can't speak to the whole band scope of NERD because I wasn't there for the whole thing. I was there for She Wants to Move because that was a great single. But I haven't gone back and listened to them all. But that new NERD...
I was there for the early days, man. I was there for rock.
I'm forgetting about Lemon with Rihanna. I didn't know that I loved Rihanna until I heard Lemon. My goodness. Yeah, no, it's so good. Get onto it. I'll send it to you eventually.
Alright, sweet.
We'll listen to it together. It'll be cute.
But yeah, as far as Death Grips go, 1.5 albums is about as much as I've listened to them. So there is, and I haven't gone back to them. So I think that might be a bit of a clue for what's going to come in a little bit later. Get that in frame, people. Get the shirt.
It's my favourite shirt. It's got a hole under here or here.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll wear it everywhere.
I got a few of those shirts. I know exactly what you mean, but so then the tough decision comes out of this. Death Grips would get erased.
I know, and I've got so much more to say about them too. I want it to be on record that my favourite album by Death Grips is the album that I liked the least the first time I heard it. And I've forgotten Government Plates.
Government Plates, the first album.
Government Plates is I think it's the
Money Store?
4th or 5th album.
Government Plates.
Government Plates. It's the one that it's very bizarre. It's very
oh really?
It's a Death Grips album. It's interesting to me because I think it's accidentally, or maybe not accidentally, a concept album. The best way to actually listen to the album is to watch the video album that's live on, not live, but it's on YouTube on Death Grips' own store.
Yeah.
They have a credit to who the artist was that did most of the 3D images. Some of it's just visualizers. Some of the first song, which I'm going to butcher the title, but He May Not Love You. You think he loves you, but I really know what he loves you for. And it's something about a pillboy hat or something like that. It's ridiculous. And the closer, they really visually off those. Like it starts with Mr. Grips himself just crying down the barrel of a camera as this violent, super violent song is just like playing like brutally loud over the top.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's pummeling your chest, like it's killing you, like it's. I even need to
very emotionally charged.
I'm going to play it just for myself so I can remember what the lyrics are because I'm a Death Grips fan, but I'm actually an idiot.
Don't worry, I've been a fan of music for so long, I forgot more than I remember. So I completely agree. Completely understand where you're coming from when he's talking about.
Gets so fucking dark in here. Die in the process. You die in the process. Come fuck apart in here. Die. So good. Like it's just the lyrics is very simple. I think this is the one album, if I can remember back to my album collection, like actual LP collection, that in the vinyl notes, Stephen is credited for writing most of the lyrics by himself. Whereas other projects, I think Zach Hill and Flatlander have more input into the lyrics as well. So like very collaborative projects. Funnily enough, Robert Pattinson, big Batman fan over here.
Yeah.
He plays guitar on that album, on Government Plates. He plays this like weird guitar part on Birds, which is, for what it's worth. There's a picture of Robert Pattinson, Beyonce, and Death Grips all together because Beyonce and Robert Pattinson are friends and they went to a Death Grips concert silly things, just the silly little things that this band just make you go, what? They went on tour with Ministry, which we've never talked about yet.
Oh damn it! That would have been sick.
Ministry. Oh, it would have been ridiculous. It would have been ridiculous. I don't even really know Ministry, but I would have loved it. Like, it would have been ridiculous.
I do not know the guy with so many piercings who would set off a metal detector. I
just don't know metal music because I was into pop music when I was a gatekeeper.
Psalm 69. Jesus Built My Hot Rod. Recent album was a bit average, but besides that, I mean, you talk about a big band of the industrial metal era. One of those bands that influenced Nine Inch Nails, you know, back in the
Which
80s.
we really should have talked about. I really wanted to pick Nine Inch Nails for this because I wanted to talk about Atticus Ross and Nine Inch Nails doing soundtracks because... But anyway, we'll get there. We've got another 3 bands. I'm sure we can find more content.
Yeah, we've got another list still to come, people. We've got another list. But yeah, that would have been really cool to see this band coming into play. And
imagine being there. So the copy of Ex-Military that I do have, I bought from America. I bought for way too much money. I'm not going to disclose how much money I bought it for, but it's worth more now.
Okay,
Sorry.
good. As long as it's worth more.
It has a ticket stub of 2012 in Sacramento where someone's went and seen this band live, kept this ticket stub where they bought the album, I suppose, and they've thrown it in the packet, and I've still got the thing. And this is an album that's like, you know, the actual recording on Spotify and the release version on an album is different because the lengths are different. You know, like there's cut material and all this stuff, and I should just like rip the whole thing to audio. Rip it to a program and then upload the whole thing for free so that people can listen to it. But you know,
legalities, people, we're not going to go over them.
There's also weird things that Death Grips like to do, like they release all of their albums on their own website for free, broken down into the vocals, the lyrics, the vocals track, the drum track, and the rest of it, basically the Andy Moran track. And then they like encourage people to mix their own music out of Death Grips. No Love Deep Web, for instance, the reason that album cover has a picture of a penis with No Love Deep Web written up the side of it is because they were dropped from their record label because they wanted to release that album. So and they were on tour touring The Money Store, which is probably their magnum opus. Not my favourite album, but their opus, so I would nearly agree with. It's unanimously loved, but it's so bizarrely sampled, but we'll get into that. What was I talking about? Oh god.
The money's the store where they got dropped from.
They dropped from their record label by releasing this album for free online on a torrent, and the album cover was a Sharpie with the album title written down the drummer's cock. Released live. Like you can have it for free. Like we do what we want. Fuck who's watching. Like don't care. Like they embody punk. They embody metal. They embody rap. It's insane. It's amazing. It's ridiculous music.
Yeah, exactly. It's good shit.
And I think this is why Government Plates is my favorite album by them, because it doesn't live in a bubble. Like, it knows that you listen to Death Grips. It knows that you listen to all their stuff. It doesn't really sample things that I know is recognizable. It has some weird things there, but it's all original. Like, it's all super experimental. It's almost like listening to a Yes album if it was rap or something like that. Like, it's insane. It's
the modern day weird shit.
Yeah, and I love it. I'm all there for it. Like Money Store primarily sampled this Saudi Arabian mixtape that was a bunch of music that was shared between each other's phones in Saudi Arabia. And so this music was like made by people that would I think it's Saudi Arabia, I might be wrong, might be Iran, could be Iraq. I'm racist, so I don't really know. But I'm sure it's Saudi Arabia, where this music was really important for the kids at the time whenever it was released. But it was, most of the music got really popular by being shared by Bluetooth to each other. Remember when we used to share songs to each other by Bluetooth? Yeah. And this is an album that congregates this together. And Death Grips were listening to it at the time, and they sampled it. It's almost those bands were like ostracized by the government to the point where some of them had to like leave the country because their music was inciting violence or inciting protest or something like that. So they're so
we
risky.
are talking about Saudi Arabia after all,
and they're and Death Grips is in tune with this kind of stuff for Americans, and they're in Sacramento of all stupid places. Like it's ridiculous.
Sacramento,
yeah,
out of Deftones County.
There you go.
Fuck oath.
So yeah, I can't say to you enough. Listen to more Death Grips, but it is what it is. I understand. There's so much music released every day. and they're not really up your alley. They're a little bit ex-military might be. It's a little bit more listenable. It's a little bit more.
I reckon I'll give them another shot. 100%.
Definitely start with ex-military. There's actually
there's so much shit I had to unpack every week.
There's actually a really good video. I'll link it to you. I'm not quite sure who it was, but it was a smaller YouTuber listening to Death Grips for the first time, listening to Money Store for the first time. Never heard a Death Grips album. Never heard Money Store. Never heard anything. And the amount of times that he was pausing and just being like, the production is so tight. Like sometimes you'll just be listening to this glass shattering and then it just cuts and then it'll just play this little drum loop and then it goes straight back to the song, but it's seamless and it doesn't feel out of place. It feels right. It feels perfect.
You know what is actually probably not detrimental? What's the opposite of detrimental?
I don't know.
Something additional.
Additional, yeah. It helps.
Additional. It helps. This thing helps. That's what I'm trying to say.
It adds to.
It adds to add to, everyone. Thesaurus.com. Please help me. So, yeah, basically, I remember doing a review on what this band was called, The Garden. And very weird synth punk kind of thing. They describe themselves as Vada Vada. And to a degree, you know what, I can see a bit of Death Grips in their music as well, because it's all of a sudden drum beats and then bang, stops, then guitars or something like that. You know, and there's just weird shit.
Like, it's a little bit disjointed. 100 Gex I was showing you today, they're like same kind of sampling tones where they kind of, it's not quote unquote listenable, but it's fucking catchy. Like it's hooky, it's amazingly, still sounds like something that's not unlistenable.
Yeah. And at the same time, like, I mean, because I really did enjoy their recent album, OC. Sorry, not OC 93. That was a track. Horse Shit on Route 66.
Yeah. Actually, I listened to that after you recommended it to me. I couldn't tell anything about it, but I loved every second of it.
Yeah. See, and like if you're saying that you love Death Grips and then you do enjoy this, I feel like since I've listened to that, I could probably go back to Death Grips and go, that's something I could probably enjoy a lot more.
Not quite as experimental sometimes. Money Store is very listenable as well, but you'll get there. Like it sounds like it's not listenable. Oh, there's a sample of fucking Serena Williams serving a tennis ball, primarily used in a song that is talking about blowing up your system because it's too loud. So like,
okay,
you know, like the
samples are weird. Okay,
the imagery of Serena Williams being too loud at a tennis court match. And
I'm glad it was
being too loud to blow your system. Like it's beautiful. It really is. Kingdom blow your system. Blow a brain about it. So good.
I'm glad it was the tennis ball and not the screaming involved. You know?
It's so good. You listen to it and you'll be like, that's the song.
All I can think of is like this video, which is like, you know, they hit the tennis ball like between two people, and the tennis ball's the one making the noise.
Yes.
But yeah,
ow!
Yeah, Nanny,
harder.
Can I get a fucking? But when you go down to this list of 3 incredible bands, Death Grips, Tool, and Gorillaz, we have a hard choice to make.
We do. And there couldn't be 3 more different bands.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you are really picking like the...
I didn't want to talk about Tool compared to...
No, you didn't want to go for a full metal episode. You didn't want to go for a full hip hop or anything. This is just
eclectic.
Out of,
this is the aging fucking record store collector.
This is the pinwheel of colours type of thing.
He's got the $300 version of $300 version of Demon Days, the $300 version of a Death Grips album, and the $300 version of what did I just say? Inferior Inoculum. He's going to sell one of them because he's not going to eat tonight. So.
End of the day, you know, this is the twister game of music. So this is right foot red, left hand green. But the choices to be made are difficult. I would have to say, it's not so
difficult for you in a sense because luckily for you, one of those bands gets to be erased.
My choice. I mean, look, when you boil it down, if you can erase one, then the tough choice becomes between the other two.
I haven't heard Death Grips, so I have to erase them.
So Death Grips, I haven't heard in a long time. I have to erase them, especially compared to the other 2 bands. But then you've got to make this difficult decision
to see
who the
Tool live,
or
never listen to them again, or to see Gorillaz live and never listen to them again.
See them again live. Or something. Where do I go with this? Because like these are both bands I want.
Because you're essentially erasing 2 bands. Yeah, this is the thing I love most about your game.
This is 2 bands I really would love to listen to for the rest of my life, and 2 bands
see live for the rest of my life.
I would love to see live. You know.
Even if they were skinny little apes.
Fucko. Man. Shit, this is extremely difficult.
We can flip this thing again.
People make a decision for me. Far out. it feels sacrilegious saying this out loud.
Here it is. We've broke Chili.
Yeah,
On camera.
yeah. Visual discomfort and
I break mirrors in my face.
it's frustrating. Yeah, man. I would have to say Gorillaz live.
There you go. Yeah.
That's
and I you know what?
well.
I'll let you finish, but
Gorillaz live, and I would listen to Tool for the rest of my life. It would pain me to no extent the fact that I couldn't listen to Gorillaz, but I guess when you're looking at it as well, Gorillaz and their discography isn't as good as Tool's discography.
yeah.
They have a strong discography compared to Gorillaz. Gorillaz have 3-4 really good albums, and B-sides, that's not bad, and
G-sides
G-sides or whatever you want to call it, G-sides, D-sides, whatever. But you know they've got like 4 good albums, a decent enough G-sides album, and then the rest is meh. But on the other hand, their live performances are so weird that you could pick any weird fucking concert. And
imagine being
amazed.
there live when like all the people were coming out that were on Song Machine, all the people who were coming out that were on
No,
Cracker
fuck
Island.
that one.
Like what they did in America just before Cracker Island came out, and they had like 13 or 16 or something like that different guests come out and do songs. And like we were lucky to have I can't remember her name, but the beautiful lady that was the opener.
Yeah.
She came out and did the cell phone song off Song Machine. Blowing up my DMs.
Yeah, she came on for another track or two. I think she was.
Yeah, she was on that track.
Yeah.
And then we had Earth Gang, which like I'm not a big new rap person either, but like Earth Gang is one of those like woo bands, you know. And we had them live, and we were right in front of us, and you and I both didn't appreciate that enough.
No, we definitely did not. But like, I mean, you know, you could go to any performance. You could be like at MTV when they were doing the animation style. You could be at the Plastic Beach performances.
Yeah, which
you could be at any of these
Snoop Dogg's
performances.
there.
Fucking Snoop Dogg, you know.
What's his name?
At the
Brendan
World of
Lewis
the Plastic
is there.
Beach,
Bruce Willis is there.
you know. So there's so many choices of weird live bands. Live concerts that you can see.
And you can see it all the time.
And I think I could live comfortably just listening to Tool forever.
Yeah.
I think I can live very comfortably going Lateralus, yes. 10,000 Days, yes.
Anima, which we didn't talk about at all, but yes.
Yeah, we didn't. Holy shit, we didn't.
I know, it's like, I know.
Well, we didn't even talk about the other one. 46
Undertow.
and Undertow, which is also really good. Fuck the first one though.
I know, we talked so much about seeing Gorillaz live together and fanboyed out that we didn't talk about our actual favourite bands.
Yeah, but that's the thing about them. They've got so many good things going on, and it's like it's easy to have these very good albums overshadowed, I guess, by these other albums. Lateralus and 10,000 Days overshadowing Undertow and
Anima.
Sorry.
To me, Anima and Lateralis overshadow Undertow and 10,000 Days, but that's not because I don't like 10,000 Days.
Because I haven't heard it. Yeah. I can understand that.
So you're wrong, but it's okay to be wrong.
well, like 10,000 Days came out like just when I was at the end of high school.
It was a perfect time. You were there for it.
It was. I was
We
living
didn't even
that.
talk about Fear Inoculum.
No, we did. We mentioned the meme.
Oh, you don't like Fear Inoculum?
No, I like it. It is good, but it's like
it's overbloated.
Nah, all their albums are to a degree overbloated, but I think this one does have some weaker moments compared to.
It's very technical. It's a very technical album. Like there are parts in it where it's just like
Danny's drums are
playing.
on.
It's
on
the
point.
drums. There's a drum solo in it that just like there is like basically the
sorry.
chocolate mix song. What is it? Chocolate
dip.
chip something.
It's chocolate chip machine or something.
Oh, it's ridiculous,
Yeah.
and it's just we don't even get into that. Oh,
I
can we talk
apologise,
about these
people.
bands again?
Take 2. We're going to go for another hour.
Cut. No.
But like, yeah, look, there's a lot of shit that you can unfold in regards to that. But that is a good one to pick there. What about you? What would you pick out of these?
Yeah,
two bands?
for me, unfortunately, because the other two bands are Tool and Death Grips, Gorillaz gets erased straight away.
Holy shit!
I know. And that's not... You know how long I've been thinking about this? Like, they're gone. That's like...
That's a big one.
That's my childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just happy to just say the music I listen to now is better than the music I listened to in my childhood without blinking an eye. It's so bad. But then... And that's coming off seeing Gorillaz live, and I love them. And that's coming off... even the bad albums, I think, that I give a little bit more time to. Like, I actually think I like Song Machine. I just don't remember it. Because I have like ADHD schizoid brain where I can't remember anything. You tell me one thing in 1 second. Like I didn't realize that I loved the Beck song about New York until I heard it recently again. I was like, oh, I actually
Yeah.
fucking love that. Like, I didn't realize I loved
Oh, that's right. My brain's turning into grey matter at the moment. I don't even.
But you're lucky, like.
Lucky? No. I swear I got Alzheimer's. I don't even know. It's like
Well, don't
undiagnosed Alzheimer's.
Don't worry,
Like,
it's
yeah.
not hereditary, so. It's not an easy decision, but it sounds like an easy decision. But Gorillaz are gone, just like that. So now I got to make the hard decision.
make the
Do I get
hard
to go
one.
back to that one night where I saw Death Grips live? Which actually, another thing that I should talk about. Death Grips has started touring again in America, which they're not old enough to be as Anthony Fantano puts it, not old enough to be a legacy band. So that could mean more music, and it could be the perfect opportunity for you to start getting into their music.
Okay.
To have a good 5-minute review coming up.
Okay.
But I'll let you know in due time, I'm sure. Do I go back to the moment where I saw them live? Or do I finally give myself the opportunity to see Tool live and never listen to their music again?
This
Or
is
do I
the
not
one.
listen to Death Grips, which is now, I think, 3 or 4 years in a row been one of my top 3 albums on Spotify. Top 3 albums on Spotify.
Ooh.
Every single year it comes up either King Giz and the Lizard Wizard or Death Grips gets listened to
Like
the most.
the top
every
100
single
songs
time.
or something like that.
Every
Yeah,
single
yeah.
time.
Okay.
So, it's painful. It's painful. I'm going to see Tool live. I'm never going to listen to Lateralis again.
That's painful.
And I'm going to have to stick with Death Grips forever.
I can understand that. I kind of thought you were going to go for the angle of that one as well because of Death Grips.
And I
You
want to
couldn't.
see...
You couldn't stop that.
Oh, I want to... And if I could pick a live version, I want to be the only person at the 1992 recording, or 1997 recording it was, or something like that, where he's singing Sober Live and just be the only person there blowing my eyes, like going, he's so smart!
Could have done the Woodstock version of 1994. They were actually. I think that's the recording.
It might be the
I
recording.
think that's the recording. Yeah, from memory it was. Interesting year that year. for
Huge. I want to be the
Woodstock.
only one there though, because I couldn't be around all those like piss drunk young people going, "I like this band." I want to be right there, right front, no noise, getting blown my head off.
And that'd be a good concert because I think Rage Against the Machine were there too.
Fuck you! I won't.
I'm
do
pretty
what
sure.
you
Actually,
tell
I'm
me.
fucking sure they were there, and they stood naked before the crowd for 10 minutes with P.
That's even more torturous than listening to License
and
to
it
Ill,
was
which is
like-
a good album. I'm not saying License to Ill is not a bad album. It's once you've heard it a few times, like when's Death Grips coming? That's like you're sick of it.
I think they had just written on themselves like PMCA or something, which was
Nice.
like the parental mothers of Christian music. I don't know, whatever the fuck
Love
it was.
it. The ones that were trying to
Yeah.
silence them.
Yeah, and they just stood there naked with duct tape on their mouths for 10 minutes. It's like, yeah, fuck you guys.
Yeah, you've silenced me. You've done it. I've done it. You
Yeah,
now get to see my
exactly.
cock with "No Love Dead Web" written on it.
Woodstock 94 would have been a good one. But yeah, no. I can understand that completely.
Or I want to be at the Super Spreader event. I don't care if I get COVID. I think I would have loved that every second of it. 17-minute drum solo, bring it to me.
Yeah. Danny did some good drum solos.
He was ready. He had like I picture it. Did he have like a drum kit like Sting?
He had a big ass drum kit.
Yeah.
Sting?
The Sting's drummer, the Police's drummer. Like he's just like renowned for having the.
You're talking about. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember.
I'll look it
names.
up.
But anyway,
doesn't matter. I'll look it
he
up.
had a massive drum kit. Yes, he had gongs. He looked like something out of Rush.
Yeah.
He looked like this thing that Rush,
Because
the
I
gong
remember
set up,
when
the
we didn't
synth
even talk
set up.
about it. I remember when Fear Inoculum was coming out, and like I was there for the whole social media program. They had small like snippets of them at the in the recording studio, and they like his drum set up there in the recording studio. It was fucking ludicrous.
Yeah.
He had a gong the size of Kingdom Come. Like it was ridiculous.
He had that gong. It's
They
like
just
you use it twice.
toured with
It's
that.
like,
That's ridiculous. That's
why do you need a
amazing.
gong. Anyway, but yeah, it's tough decisions with that. Matt, you made a really good
Bad list.
here. Fuck you for your list.
Can't wait to see yours. Let's talk about Death Grips again, please.
Damn it, he's ruined the one. I was talking about your Death Grips.
I was on the porch thinking that I'll pick something that Chili can talk about that I don't know about, and it'll be nice for me to learn. I'm like, no, I'm going to make it hard for me.
Yeah.
It's all me. It's all about me on your channel.
So Matt, cheers. Thank you for coming in on this episode of Live Listen Race and giving me a list that royally screwed me over. I feel so sad at the choices I had to make. But they are choices that we made together.
We made them together.
The pain we share in regards to this.
What is it? Misery
Loves Company. Misery Loves Company, people. Welcome to the Misery channel of Live Listen Erased. Where we can
on this election day, to date the album, to date
Yes.
the video.
Yep, today is the election day indeed. But don't worry, this will come out like a few weeks after that. So, yep, Tune in, everyone. In 2 weeks' time, we will have side B of this episode out. And I hope you have enjoyed. If so, make sure to leave a like. If you dislike, well, leave a dislike. I don't care. So, and also tell us what 3 bands you would have done. What were the choices that you would have made for this list? Who would you see live? Who would you see perform live? Who would you see listen to, I should say. Who would you erase? Have a great day, everyone. Stay spicy.
More chili!
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Live Listen Erased. And if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our Chili Con Carnage crew so you can get notified for all the future videos that we put out, as we put out videos every Friday. Also, we are on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter over at Live Listen Erased, so make sure to tune in over there. And don't forget to like this video so that our manager can stay very happy.
If it's that way, it's yours. If it's that way, it's mine.
Sure.
Mine.
Your list first. There we go. Everyone, that'll make it the final cut. I'll just say that's how we decided on these lists. It's very official here at Live Listen.
Oh my god, my earpods are broken.